analysis paralysis of keep thinking, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? What? Just do it. I mean, you gotta make up your mind to do something. It is better to do something, I'd say, kind of half-cocked and then adjust it later, but get out of your comfort zone and actually implement something that you learned. And make yourself a plan. Oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And don't try to recreate the world, but think of, long-winded, I know. Don't tell you, she's like ready to snatch the cord from me. But make yourself a plan and say, I learned this, and this, and I want to implement this, and I want to implement that, and I want to do this. I'm not going to do them all at one time, but make yourself a plan to do it. And I am one of the world's worst because I'm cheap. As Tim pointed out. I can do those postcards myself. I'm going to do my own SEO. I'm going to ask people for reviews and things like that. And I have been very guilty about not implementing things because I want to save a buck on doing that. Don't do that. I mean, get it done. Call people, and this is the great thing. I mean, you can call, the review monster, Tim Fields. Say, Tim, I want to change my logo. Hook me up with some design. I mean, there's all these things. And you're meeting these vendors. Rely on them to get your stuff implemented.
One of the big things too, you got to remember. How do you do it? One word.
One word. Goals. Set a goal. Write it down. That's what you got to do. Set a goal of something you want to achieve. This is what I want to do. I learned this at the show. This is what I'm going to do. And write it down and make it act.
Yeah, exactly. But you touched on something that was important to me when I first came to one of these, because I didn't come to these events until I came with Paul, and I had no idea that these things were available and that they were free. So what you touched for us, yeah.
Well.
What? But what Carlos touched on was the networking was huge, and I see it happening all the time. And somebody, I can't remember who it was I was talking earlier, and they said, "Hey, do you know any guys in the Naples area that do this or do that?" And I said, "Man, they're probably all around you. Start making some connections and start, Ray and I are in the same market. He gets all the work. I get any crumbs left over. It's just the way it is. But we're still friends. We still share everything. So we, hey, somebody called me about a hotel and I'm out. It's all yours, Ray. Do it. Hey, Tim, I need a couple residential things. You think you can squeeze them in this week? I might be able to do it. So we help each other out. We give back and forth. But the camaraderie that you develop here and the networking is huge. So if you, like we're saying about the sizzle's kind of gone after a month or two, text that guy or message that girl or whoever that you made friends with there and see how they're doing, and that might kind of keep it going.
Dougie?
For me, I think what I would say is find somebody, whether it's in your market or somebody that you've connected with here. I'm going to encourage you to start some sort of an accountability group. Facebook, you can start all kinds of groups, right? Get a group of 2 or 3 or 4 of you and start an accountability group. Put some goals in there, right? You got to get out and do something. And there's a wealth of information. There's so much that's happened here. Don't try to take it all in and hey, I got to do this. I got to run over. I got to do that. I got to do that. No. Find 1 or 2 things, but maybe get in with a few others and start an accountability group and hold yourselves accountable. That way, I can call Rob and I can say, dude, did you do that today? No, I didn't do that. Dude, you got to do it. Make yourselves accountable for what you're doing.
Wonderful.
Do it.
Wonderful. It's a great response. It's actually a great topic because I don't think it's ever really been discussed, the after party, we call it. It's like what goes on. And it's very important to take what you've learned. And you're going to have your days where you're not going to want to do this, wherever you're at in your business, especially for the new folks. And you're going to second guess yourself. Well, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if this is the right path. And the only thing that I would add to that is be willing to take risk.
Yes.
If you stay in your comfort zone 24/7,
That's what you get.
that's where you're going to be forever. And some of the most successful washers in this industry, at one point in their career, the light came on and they were willing to take risks. So don't be afraid to take the risk. So,
Knock on that
time's
door.
out. All right,
No,
third question.
I was saying you take risks, go knock on that door.
Right, exactly.
Sorry.
I thought you were telling
Cutting you off, yeah.
telling the moderator that put the rules down to keep it quiet. No, good call.
Moderator, you're done.
Third question. Transitioning from residential to commercial. What's the biggest stumbling block? Residential customers, pretty basic, straightforward, do the belly dance routine, boom, but commercials, different animal. How do we jump over that?
Completely different sales.
is.
The way you
Microphone.
The way you sell to commercial and the way you sell to residential is two completely different things. Homeowners treat things a lot different than a commercial. Commercial, a lot of times, they just want to get it done. I just need it done, give me the price.
Send that email.
Make it easy.
Done.
Make it easy for me. People are naturally lazy. But when it comes to their home and their own stuff, I mean, I'm sure everybody here knows they treat it a lot different. And it's a little harder to knock on the door at a commercial place because people are so busy during the day. Just getting to the right person is 99% of the battle. Once you get there, once you sell it, it's easy. You know, once you get going and you get it closed, it's there forever.
Wonderful.
Until you screw something up. But
Look at you. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
I want,
Oh, there you are.
Raymond's my commercial
Okay.
guy, I want him to.
Shopping. Shopping back in the store.
Hardest thing, and some of the guys in here that only do residential probably won't understand this, but the guys that do commercial will, and back me up on this. You know, you do your residential, and then, you know, we've got a $2,500 house wash, and decent sized house wash, and then you're dealing with this homeowner, and they're what is that on the gutter, and you know, that window spot. I don't think people just can understand how many times we do $8,000-9,000 commercial jobs, send them before and after pictures. We never even do a walk around with the people. I mean, it's just, and then the check's in the mail in 10 days. I mean, these are, and that's part of the servicing of the customer. It's part of aligning yourself with that property manager. The hardest thing about transitioning from the commercial, the residential to commercial, is having your team and having the equipment and having enough stuff to do the job, whether that's personnel, whether that's gallons per minute, whether that's safety tape, but having enough stuff to do the job, because I do see people going after commercial that are not ready for that.
Mm-hmm. Very good, great answer.
Transitioning.
This next question is actually going to be directed probably more so to Paul than anyone, because he's a distributor. But prior to that, we're going to allow three questions from the audience as well. So if you have a burning question after we're done with Paul, throw up your hand and we'll get it answered. But the question I have for you, Paul, is the manufacturing side, the custom-made rigs, the technology, if you will, is evolving. And where do you see, because you seem to be in the forefront of creating things out of thin air. I mean, you come up with some really, really unique designs and platforms and footprints. And we're, in the next 3 years, 5 years, will the proportioner be obsolete? Will the water dragon, you know? Where is the technology going?
Well, we're working on the hostless gun where you can suck water out of the air. No.
You're out of a job, man, by the way.
Apparently.
You know, the technology is constantly evolving, and I think the biggest difference that is happening that hasn't happened over the years is, you know, at least in my case, I'm a lot more involved with contractors, the people that do it on a day-to-day basis in volume, constantly. And I know with me, And I'm sure with a lot of you, when you're out there working all day by yourself and you're just standing there and all you're doing is just squeezing the gun and spraying, you just get a lot of time for your mind to work. How can I do this faster? How can I do that better? And I think really, I mean, the innovations and things that have come to us are really a collaboration of working with you. And I think that's one of the unique things that we've brought to the market that was never really there before. And I'm sure it's the case with a lot of you. Some of the local guys, they don't want to deal with the contractor. You know, they didn't want to deal with me as much. I was a pain in the butt. I came in and I wanted to do this, and I wanted to make that change, and I wanted to add this, I wanted to do that. He's like, just buy this pressure washer and go away. You know, they didn't want to, this is what I have. And, you know, the collaboration and the things that we do, and, you know, Tim and Ray and many of you, I've gotten ideas from you. I wish I had something that did this. Oh, that's a really good idea. Let me think how we can do that. So I think there's going to be a lot more things coming. Soft washing is just evolving into something that is just becoming an incredible process that really was not on the radar. So I think you're going to see more innovations in soft washing than anything. We're trying to do some things with pressure washers to make them easier to service, easier to work on, easier to build, be more efficient. That's coming. But to predict the future on that, I mean, the next great idea could be coming from anybody in this room. And it's just a matter of being able to work with the right people to develop that and implement that. And things can be, I think they're gonna be just getting better and better.
Okay.
I mean, every day somebody's got something new,
Wonderful.
idea to add.
All right. The next question.
It'll still be here, Tim, don't worry. It will never be
How
obsolete.
significant has social media impacted, obviously, the pressure washing industry as it relates to your marketing to your customers? And again, we'll throw a footnote under there for, obviously, for the veterans that have been around for 10, 15 years. The way that we did it before was the fax machines. The carbon copy, I don't know if you remember those. Well, we did, early on, I was doing the carbon copy, writing it out on the spot, and tearing the pink copy, giving it to the customer. The yellow copy was supposed to go in the file. It usually found its way in the back seat of my pickup truck. And then, so things have just changed, and obviously social media has been a driving factor in the last 3 to 5 years. And I wanted to find out from the panel, what impact has it affected you in regards to your marketing efforts? And how important is it for our contractor community to pay attention to the trends of social media?
Okay, there's probably a lot more people more experienced than I am as far as the social media. We have our web company Keep Up on our Facebook page, and when you talk about the social media and in-depth and the Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and stuff like this, you've got to understand that there is a certain demographic that is going to use this. This is going to be the younger crowd between 25 and say 30, or 25 and 35. And the older demographic, which is 35 and older, probably aren't going to get the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the Twitters and stuff. They're not going to get that. So they're going to go back to the standard of looking up websites and stuff like this. But as this newer generation, they're going to get older, okay? And social media isn't going to go away, and you're going to have to evolve with that. People like Rob Anderson know more about it. Doug know more about it than I do. But you could say, look at YouTube, and people look at YouTube as grandpa now. But I would probably suggest to a lot of people that you make just a very rough, off-the-cuff video of house washing and wherever you're at, and put it down as that, or rust removal, or concrete cleaning in Dallas, Texas, or in Tampa, Florida, and put that up, and then start shooting that link around Facebook, around Instagram, around Twitter, around the forums if that's where you go, and then watch how that thing takes off. We've got a, hello. Am I going too far? I'm sorry. Anyway, never mind. Got along with it. No, but we've got one. We've got one at House Washing, Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's got over 800,000 views, and I get a lot of customers from that. So anyway.
You watched it 700,000 times though, so yeah.
Get my hook on me.
Am I allowed to disagree with you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you right now, we've got people of all ages and age ranges. I think, my mom is on Facebook. Okay, it's all age ranges are out there. One of the things that Guy said, I'm really going to encourage you because marketing in Facebook world and in the social media has been a huge impact on my business. And one of the things that I shared with a couple people here is, if you go to my website, there's me and a video, okay, and I'm personalizing it to them. It's more on the residential side than the commercial side, but there's a face to them, and I think that that's a very huge impact on our marketing.
Absolutely.
Great.
I would say on here, just to address a couple of points. Engagement is what you want with your customers. And again, for you guys that aren't doing this, Nathan Red Elf's his class on social marketing. I know we have some friends of the academy that stop in that are very good at social marketing. There's programs you can buy. It's not something you have to do yourself if you're uncomfortable about it. A lot of guys in here follow me on my Facebook. I have some fun on there, and if y'all notice, I actually have a very specific thing. I say some type of cute witticism about every day. I go in there and say something, and about every 4th or 5th day now, it's a subtle little, oh, wow, spray wash is out working. Oh, my crews are all working. Or it might be in your face, oh, but look at this job that we did. So I'm getting my customers to come to my page and say, God, what is Ray going to say today? And now, oh, look what spray wash did. So, I mean, I actually do this to engage. And here's the point I want to caution folks on doing that. Just as social media can get you jobs, it can also lose you jobs on there. Be careful about what you post. If you want to maintain a professional profile, be professional on there, because people can search you. People can see what you've been saying. People can see the F-bombs that you're dropping and the fights that you're getting in with people on there. So if you're going to use Facebook as part of your business, keep it clean and keep it non-controversial.
Great. Thanks, Rick. Do we have any questions? We have room for 3. So Grace, would you stand up?
Somebody asked Tim a question, he feels sad.
Good. I'm obsolete.
Settle down, panel. Settle down.
I have a really quick question. I've heard several people here reference commercial or moving from residential to commercial. And we hear, make sure you're talking to the right person there, or there's somebody in charge of that. Can you just literally rattle off 5 titles, 3 titles or job descriptions of the person that we would approach in a giant, warehouse system or a corporate environment, and you're going to clean the outside? Who are you looking for there?
Great question.
In the fleets, you want to talk to the terminal manager or the fleet manager.
Your facilities manager or property manager for your commercial stuff. But most of these places, your hospitals, your malls, they'll call them a facilities manager. A lot of people go out there and say, oh, I want to talk to the purchasing manager is another one. But honestly, facilities are the guys where you want to start with.
Look for your commercial realtors as well. They're the ones that are going to get you some of those commercial jobs, commercial leasing agents that have the ability to, they can't get you the work, they can't give you the work in most cases. However, they have the influence to help connect that dot to say, hey, this property is really dirty, that's why we're having trouble leasing it.
What everybody else said, but the first thing you're going to have to do is get by the bulldog. and that's the secretary or receptionist that you will meet the very first thing. You've got to get by her or him to get to them. Okay, so what you do and how you act to them will hinge if you get to see, go beyond that. They are the gatekeeper.
Wonderful. Thank you, panel. Appreciate it. Tim? Okay.
Yeah, I don't speak a lot about this, but, and I don't do much commercial work, not near as much as I used to. I see it in Ray, and I see it in all these guys, and the guys that are successful and stuff. When you do find these people, when you find the right person, it all comes down to relationships.
Yep.
I had commercial accounts for years and years and years. They wouldn't talk to anybody else but me. They wouldn't even entertain it because we had a relationship. And so like
you still have. I mean, I bought Tim's phone number whenever he was transitioning out. And we're good on the phone. And well, is Tim there? Well, Tim, we actually have Tim's phone number now. Tim's really slowed down a great deal on the washing. I want to talk to Tim. Well, but
in life as well. But the relationships that the relationships that you build with these people, that person may leave and go to another company. Yeah. They bring you with them.
Absolutely.
And so, that's one more little branch that goes out. So relationships and I see Doug doing things on social media about maybe giving small gifts, and I see Lou Zender giving gifts and things. Keep the relationships built, and you really won't be able to get rid of them. So kind of what I tried to do, give them to Ray.
Right.
But
all right, thank you, panel. Appreciate it. Paul, did you want to add anything? Okay, great. So, Mike Senior.
What one thing can you offer that you use to create and maintain quality assurance?
So Q&A programs.
Quality control, not Q&A.
Yeah. From a manufacturing side, it's just more or less procedures. Having those procedures in place, developing those procedures, the checklists to go through and make sure that everything done properly. When they test the things, when they build the things, and set and establish the order and the procedures to do that. Same thing, in shipping. One person picks it, one person checks it, and then it's packaged and shipped, so that we don't send the wrong stuff or not send everything. Just check and double check.
Right. Yeah. In working, I was always an owner-operator. Ray still works, and he's on a lot of jobs, but he's got a lot of other duties to do as well, and Doug and everybody, kind of the same, but I was on most every job, and so I never had a set sheet that said we got to do this, and this, but we just did that same thing every job to make sure that this job was done the exact same as the last job, and the last job, and the last job, and I was always the rinse man in our operation, so I rinsed it, so if it wasn't clean, then it was up to me. But you can't be everywhere at once, but if you set something up to where it's listen, you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, you don't move to the next one until you're finished with the one you're doing. And Ray?
I'd say one of the biggest things that our office does, and that little lady sitting back there does it, and she's so sly about it. Standing. We do the follow-up calls on the jobs.
I'm sorry, Ray, you're going to really pay tonight.
Yeah. the follow-up calls. You want a piece of this? You want a piece of it? But I sit there and I listen to Tanya, and I'm just in awe of her every day, listening to her work these phones, and it's amazing because she calls the customers. Hi, this is Tanya at Spray Wash. Just wanted to call and follow up and make sure you were really happy with this job, and that's one of our best quality control things. And then what people don't realize is, while yes, Tanya cares about the quality of the job, this is also a call for payment as well. And she slides that in there just as quick and easy. And they don't even realize they're giving their credit card number.
Now they do because it's online.
To me, there are two crucial factors in quality control. The first one is before and after pictures. I make my guys do before and after pictures on every job. And I teach them on how to take that picture so that they're taking the same picture. I can tell, I've caught my guys where they take the before picture, And then they got to try to find another after picture that kind of matches, because they went back for the after picture and they realized they missed a spot, so they take another one over here. And I can catch that in the before and after pictures. So that's number one. Number two is that follow-up phone call to that client to say, hey, how are y'all doing? Are y'all happy with the end result? All that. Those are the two things that are the quality
Good point,
control.
Doug. Especially the before and after pictures. It eliminates a whole bunch of confusion and process. That's
And
a
your
Q&A
guys-
that,
your guys
you know,
know.
and again, the other thing that I was going to add is for the owners that have crews out there, you as an owner, the buck stops with you. You have the responsibility to get out of the office, get in your truck, and do spontaneous checks on your sites. Check your guys' work. And I'm not talking about just driving by and looking. Get out of the truck, pull those garbage cans off from the side of those walls in the front of stores. See if they're hitting that. Walk the site. Are they walking over gum, or are they popping every piece? So that's your Q&A. Very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. And then feedback. Feedback to your techs, to your crew leaders, to the guys that are out there working at night. Train them, retrain them. Set a better mousetrap. So you're not at that point where your client's calling you, asking questions, or you're calling your client, is everything okay? When you're calling your client to check in, you know everything's okay. That customer relationship, because you planted that seed with that client who you're doing 30 locations a month, it's a decent account. The client in the back of their mind saying, you know what? They give a darn about us. So, great point. There's a gentleman, yes. I got you.
Yeah, my question is about insurance. I kind of feel like we're getting taken advantage of. We're constantly getting audited from our own insurance company, and for us to, we're quote unquote a smaller pressure washing company, paying $6,000 or $7,000 a year for general liability and workers' comp. In my eyes, it's gotten outrageous. Is there a go-to insurance company that we should be looking towards? I mean, granted, it's on me to shop around, but when you go shop around, you got to give this company all this information, and it becomes more of a hassle. But is there a go-to insurance company that you guys would recommend?
That I don't know. I use local. It's through Nationwide. Our liability is nowhere near that. I think we pay somewhere around $1,200. The only audit we get is workers' comp, and you're going to get that audit anywhere you go. I think it doesn't matter what workers' comp company you get, you're going to be audited, because what they do is they have to see what your wages are. If those have increased, then your workers' comp premium is going to increase also. Or if it's lessened, then they're going to lessen that price too. But I mean, we just use local, and it's nature of the beast. It's nature of the beast. But you can do like everybody else and shop around. Maybe these guys have a better idea.
And actually, and those of us here in Florida, we use Southeastern Personnel Leasing. We've never had a workers' comp audit on there because they do our payroll as well. So if you go to a personnel leasing company that's providing your workers' comp, you then don't get audited on your workers' comp because they know what your salaries are. And it's a big time saver for us.
It's built into the rate.
Right, I mean, we're paying a premium fee for that too, but
it's all based on.
But if you're in Florida, Southeast Personnel Leasing, and for those guys of you who are thinking about getting workers' comp, one of the reasons you get audited on there is, I was just telling somebody here earlier about this, they're looking also for cash withdrawals on there, and you really sort of got to keep better records. And whenever I was just an independent guy working by myself, I'd swing by, pull $50, $100 out of the bank, and do that. Well, your workers' comp company is going to say, oh, there's a $100 withdrawal out of there. What's this for? I bet it was because you hired a temporary guy and used that money for wages. So that's where they come in and then back up and back charge you for workers' comp.
There's also Joe Walters.
Great.
Yeah. And Joe Walters, a lot of people use for.
Joe Walters.
Joe Walters is common in the industry. What I would suggest is, I know they've changed over and had, you know, I don't know much about them. That's one person that I would look at. One of the things you want to look at is try a couple of different local agencies and have them shop your rates. I have a guy that I use up by me that in my first year he saved me $9,000 in insurance. And it was all about the classifications. You know, if you're doing roofs and stuff, you're going to get hit. Anytime you go up in the air, you're just going to get hit.
Roofs.
But
Roofs.
roofs. What do you call it? Roof, whatever. You know, those things up above where the water hits and you're spraying them. Anyway, you know, a lot of you can be classified as janitorial, and you probably don't even realize that. Especially soft washing, because you're not using any pressure. You could be classified janitorial, save you a fortune. You know, your liability insurance, things like that. So if you find the right agent, ask questions. There's a guy that I use up by me, and they sell in a few states, but they've done a really good job of finding the right classifications. Workers' comp, again, you know, with us it's 100% based on payroll. They audit your payroll. If it's less than you estimated, you get money back. If it's more, you got to pay.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just, it is what it is. It's the, you know, the state pool, or it's all governed by the states, and this is what you pay. Sorry.
Great, wonderful, thank you, panel. One last question and we'll wrap this up. In one sentence or less. Go in one sentence.
Oh, I might as well just.
One long run, set one out.
What is,
I think I'll be the only one to speak.
what is the best advice that you can give to an upcoming company that's 3 years or less in the pressure washing industry? Just one sentence, just blurt it out. Paul?
Dang it.
One sentence.
Why can't they get?
Or you can use just positive affirmation
Why
words.
can't I get the questions?
Determination, confidence, whatever.
Don't quit in what you're doing. Constantly strive to get better. Everything you do, you should be working harder and harder to get better. Always work to improve.
Don't give up.
That's a long sentence.
That's good. For me, what helped me and what I would want to tell everybody is when, not because we're manufacturing equipment and selling equipment, but when you can reinvest in your equipment, because it makes all the difference in the world when it's not a hassle to go and work, because you're more efficient now than you were before.
Okay.
So, you know,
Efficiency.
invest in efficiency, but invest in your equipment.
Okay. Don't give up. Invest back into your company.
Don't listen to the naysayers.
Don't listen to Raymond at all.
Don't do what I did. Yeah.
I was getting ready to say, put your phone down.
Put your phone down.
If you're a part-timer and you're building your business, take all of your profit from your business and put it back into your business.
Profits, reinvest.
Don't take anything else out of it, put it right back in your business. You've got a job, you're paying the bills.
You
Take
still
all
gotta
that
pay
business,
yourself.
well, you don't have to, but take all that profit and put it right back in your business.
Great.
You'll be on your feet in no time.
Thank you, Guy. And I want to add one last thing to that equation. Patience.
Yeah.
Be patient. You're embarking on a journey that hopefully is the last career that you will ever have. But you got to have patience. It's not going to come together overnight. This takes many, many months to build the foundation. So don't try to push things through that aren't ready to be pushed through. Patience. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Give our panel a applause. We have a special treat. Do not go too far. We have Miss Tanya Burke. That will be up here shortly. Let's take I don't know, Tanya, we good with 5-minute break?